Go on then, you carry on shouting when a woman with disabilities talks. You carry on, boys. You sit down, you sit down. I'll move the cameras. Look. Oh my God. Booing a disabled woman. Great look, boys. Great look. Why? They're now booing a woman with a stick who can't stand. Respected the fact that I was in San Francisco during the AIDS crisis, a little closer. It would be nice if some of the young people respected the fact that I was in San Francisco working during the AIDS crisis. And that I worked on a lot of the bills in the United States to advance gay rights and to advance feminist interests. And I worked a lot with gay men who felt that catching AIDS was so inevitable because they had been taught so much to be ashamed of who they were that they didn't do anything to keep themselves safe. Check your microphone. They didn't do anything to keep themselves safe because they didn't feel that they were worth it. So I would like some of the people who are telling me that I should feel shame to take that in that light. I do not feel shame. I have been in this for more than 40 years. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to feel shame for something that I've been passionate about, that I'm knowledgeable about, and I'm here to speak because I know what I know. I want to start by saying that women cannot be perfect. We cannot 100% control the narrative, and even if we could, we would be misrepresented because we are not allowed to speak for ourselves or exist for ourselves. I would like to start with a quote by Andrea Dworkin. I would like to see in this movement a return to what I call primitive feminism. It's very simple. It means that when something hurts women, feminists are against it. When I was about 7 or 8 years old, I remember first hearing about Renee Rinsters. It may have been Christine Jorgensen, I don't remember the era. As a consequence, I told my mother I was going to have a sex change when I grew up. She was very clear that I would not. Thankfully, I got older, discovered my budding passion for women and all the joys of being one. But as a child with all the neuroatypical traits which would have sent me down a medicalized pathway had I not been born in this day and age, I am highly empathetic of the many girls and young women who are not being given the time that I was. Another of the reasons I feel so passionately about the current state of lesbian existence is I have the privilege of many women. Sorry, my mouth gets very dry. I had the privilege of many women-only spaces to explore my many selves in. I've read about many young lesbians being gaslighted into accepting males. Thank you. If you could unclip that. Gaslighted into accepting males in their spaces and even their beds. I feel anger that our institutions, the ones we built, are no longer protecting our girls, little baby dykes, the way we used to. I feel hard-pressed as to where and how to start over, because it would have to be in secret, and the young women are so indoctrinated, it's unclear if anything would come of it. How did we get here? I envision societies as concentric circles, the hub of power being concentrated in the center, the dead center. Because it hoards power, its conservatism keeps it from change and vitality. So it sweeps the boundaries where society is at its most dynamic for the seemingly transgressive or the transgressive adjacent, for anything that could be recuperated back in the dominant paradigm. In this way, patriarchy has kept itself relevant for millennia. It nurtures and supports those seemingly transgressive elements, sometimes giving itself a pat on the back for its progressive ideals, other times maintaining an outward appearance of disapproval while greasing the skids behind the scenes. Gender nonconformity and the reemergence of male mothering. On the surface, gender nonconformity is a feminist goal. I remember embracing it myself. And for decades, there were positive shifts in children's clothing and toys, less restrictive dress for both men and women. But then came the backlash with the capital B. By then, we'd already had capitalist changes in language. Procreation became reproduction. Women were no longer creators of life. We reproduced it. As if we were putting together a car on an assembly line, not knitting the very flesh and bones of children from the epic interactions of every system of a uniquely complex female body. This power over new life has to be stolen from us again and again. Women's control over our own procreative body is disrupted in both literal and figurative ways. Transgenderism takes female bodies and makes them meaningless, subsumed within a feminine construct, which any form can wear. Mother right is, as with the Father God who engenders himself, no longer an existential challenge to father right. Everything cis women can do, male trans women can do better, including, we're now told, giving birth. A non-material axis. Never mind that cis and trans is a confected axis of oppression, designed expressly to make women the oppressors of men. Let me repeat that. Cis and trans is a confected axis of oppression, designed expressly to make women the oppressors of men. Forget that oppression requires a structural material extraction of benefits taken from the oppressed class, which then flow to the oppressor class. Ask what these material benefits are of someone using cis and trans and listen to them sputter. Women spent years back in the days of card catalogs researching and studying women's oppression. Then along came postmodernists in the internet age and inverted the whole dynamic in men's favor with some free-floating constructs. Postmodernists haven't really come up with something new. Women from much of history never existed. I think it was Virginia Woolf who said Anonymous was a woman. When I had my feminist enlightenment, I started reading everything I could find by women. My mother queried me as if whether I read anything by men. I told her I'd spent the last decade or so reading primarily men and thought I'd read women for the next decade and then decide from there. Men don't have that problem. From the very beginning, theirs is the hero's journey. Women are naively led to believe we are the other characters, at least the fair maiden to be one. But the real characters populating their dramas are other men. At best, we're the bull. Ironically, in real life, our function is the stage which elevates them, or the background which foregrounds them, the better for them to be seen or heard. When transgenderism was making a sole superior claim on Western progressive political thought, my thought was an absolute open goal. They were handling a generation of increasingly socially aggrieved males. A trump card against any and all females who have the temerity to be the props which suddenly start talking and having lives of our own, when we are supposed to say in our place as the passive scenery. No wonder why they view women existing as genocidal Nazis. When they say trans rights are human rights, a thought-terminating cliche, by the way, most of us would agree to their having liberty rights, to not being discriminated against in housing, employment, provisions of services, etc., etc. But where we clash our claim or treaty rights, which are restricted to certain groups of people who may need special rights or remedies for historic or current discrimination and oppression. They allow discrimination in favor of or for a selected protected group, provided the individual qualifies. For example, as a woman with a disability, I am covered by the UN Convention for the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women and the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. I could talk more about how this movement has separated its youth from its elders and rationalized so many logical fallacies in service of male sexual license. And how great it would be to see all of us focused on our planet, especially the youth who are so frightened of the coming climate collapse that they can only look inward, which I can hardly blame them for. I wish I didn't feel so isolated by what I understand to be true, and the unkindness of the call to be kind, when no one seems to care about the absolute heart-wrenching despair it is to see the passion of my entire life scuppered, demonized, and made unspeakable. But then kindness, like caring, is something women put into the world without any expectation of being on the receiving end. I'd like to finish with a quote from a poem. Yep, almost. This is from a poem, just a few. I am a woman committed to a politics of transliteration, the methodology of a mind stunned at the possible shifts of meaning, for which, like amnesiacs in a ward on fire, we must find words or burn.